like, comment, share. Tap into the daily uploads at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you missed the live streams, you got picture in picture. And if I don't get to any questions during the live streams or the pods, drop them in the comments. I'll make it part of the weekly mailbag. If you're following on the blue, smash those reactions. I know you're OG. Hit that like, comment, share, tap into the daily content that is the shop. If you're new to the shop, you definitely should be tapped in on the green. No ads, up to 50 emotes free for just being a follower. You do not have to be a supporter to unlock picture in picture, late night streams. Follow us on Kick. We also live on Twitch. Look out for the drops, as well as if you have Amazon Prime, it's free 99 to sub
Kicks
to the
weird.
channel once a month. Don't let Jeff Bezos stick that money back in his pocket. If you don't use it on the shop, use it on another content creator that you like. I still call it Twitter, but follow us on X. We tweet back. Yo, if you missed the daily shop talks, make sure you tap in for the late night cap on the purple and the green. The Discord is always open. Outside of subs, donos, and cash apps,
Suave
also
ATL.
another way to support the content. That's by grabbing a trucker hat, a bandana, hoodies, classic barbershop, Vibe Nation, right out of the official merch store on Tactic.
B.
formerly
Walker,
known
what
as
it do,
Geeks
player?
Unleashed. Code Buddha at checkout to get a discount.
We back. We 2 for 2. Hope everybody having a blessed night. We in this thing, man. AFC South, NFC South, AFC East, NFC East, AFC North, NFC North. Now we on to the West. Statman, what it do? We are into the AFC West, and then we have one more division, the NFC West. All right. Now, normally, when we getting ready to do these, I penalize teams when they don't have a first round pick. Right? Chiefs had 2 first round picks. Raiders had 2. Got finessed out of their draft pick by the Baltimore Ravens by sending back Max Crosby on a medical, on a failed physical. But some kind of way they figured it out. Now I know this may come as a surprise, but the team that I think did the least in this offseason is surprisingly the Chargers. Chargers had a lot of money free. Got Jim Harbaugh, got Justin Herbert, but let me tell you something. Do you see this backup quarterback situation? Trey Lance and DJ Uiagalelei? No, sir. Najee Harris is gone. He's a free agent. Amarion Hampton is the guy this year. They brought in Keaton Mitchell. And then they got Vidal and Patterson back, who were very serviceable in the absence of Harris and Hampton last year. But this year is going to be Hampton and Keaton Mitchell. I like Keaton Mitchell. He's a good receiving secondary back. Lab McConkey, who's a second round dog. Quentin Johnson has underwhelmed in his time in the NFL, but he's starting to get better. Then Trey Harris out of Ole Miss last year. But when you look behind them, the depth isn't there with as much money as they had in the free agency. It just seems like they got thinner, right? You know, had the long time veteran that's gone now from them, Oronde Gasson, late round superstar pickup at tight end, Charlie Kolar. Like the 2 tight ends. Oronde Gasson is a real weapon. Alec Ingold, veteran fullback. Now this is the big part where the Chargers have got to. It's the biggest question mark. Last year, Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, you got 2 really good tackles, and they both went down last year. Justin Herbert was running for his life. So they picked up Beatas, veteran center. You got Trevor Penning and Jake Slaughter flanking. But if Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt have any kind of hiccup, and if me seeing what J.C. Latham was like coming off of surgery, what Lloyd Cushenberry was like coming off an injury, it might take them a few games to get back to where they're going. All right, you got Tierre Tart, Tennessee Titan legend, Dalvin Tomlinson, Thule, Deion Henley, son of Big U, Denzel Perryman, Khalil Mack, picked up Akeem Mesidor. Last year they got Kyle Kennard out of South Carolina. Those guys are going to have to step up. Got Cam Hart, got the ever-present Derwin James, Tony Jefferson, Elijah Molden, Tennessee Titans legend, drafted Genesis Smith. You got Dante Jackson and Tarheeb Steele. Not going to lie. In this division, AFC West, this does not impress me. And we get into the draft. Akeem Mesidor, sidekick to Ruben Bain. He's a good edge rusher, but he's 25. Guys, you really don't have time to develop him. He's got to come right in and be an impact edge as a rotational guy with Khalil Mack getting older. Jake Slaughter, center out of Florida. Brennan Thompson, speed demon out of Mississippi State. Travis Burke, tackle out of Memphis. Genesis Smith, safety out of Arizona. Nick Barrett, D tackle out of South Carolina. Logan Taylor and Alex Harkey, both guards. This draft is not impressive at all. It's just not. When you look at this roster to see that Keenan Allen, Najee Harris gone off of that roster, Will Slater and Joe Alt returned to form, and then obviously Bosa left to the Bills last year, but they had Odafe away, and he left on a huge deal to the Commanders. So you're gonna need Kyle Kennard and Akeem Mesidor to step it up off the edge. I just don't see it. I just didn't see anything they did to say, hey, this team is gonna make the next step in the AFC West. Now let me get caught up on the chat. Big Jeff, what it do? Alex says, just me or our Boston, Massachusetts sports teams. It's just you. I mean, the Patriots played in the Super Bowl last year, and the Celtics, obviously, with Jason Tatum not being 100%, I don't know what you expected. Laying off the Cowboys fans' throat. I mean, I thought y'all had a really good offseason, but George Pickens can truly screw that up. Nah, Tatum's one of my favorite players in the league. He just got to take the full time it takes. He don't need to rush back. They already got a championship on his belt. Yeah, I seen Tyrod Taylor is the quarterback killer. He said there wasn't many big names. This was a solid draft, though. If you know, you know. NFL rosters are made up of round 2 through 5. Those are the players that's going to be the bulk of a football team. You're not going to have a team full of first rounders. Round 2 through 5 was super solid this year. A lot of good players. I mean, just to debunk your point, Amarion Hampton is not a first rounder. Lab McConkey is a complete dog. He was a second rounder. Trey Harris, Aronde Gasson. When you look through a team, you're going to see a lot of people that aren't first round guys that wind up turning into really good long-term NFL football players. I don't think it's going to be on Jerry this year. I think George Pickens needs to do the right thing because y'all had 2 good off seasons back to back, and he don't need to throw it away by being selfish. You already got the almost $30 million guaranteed. Play this year and bet on yourself, bro. All they're saying is don't be a cancer to the team and don't do anything off the field for 1 year. Can you do that, George Pickens? All right, second team in this division. I put them above the Chargers in the moves they made this year, but it's the Raiders. Raiders is a bottom feeder, worst team in the NFL last year. You run Pierce out, Then you bring in Chip Kelly at OC, and then you bring in Pete Carroll, and they're too busy worried about Ashton Genty's running back stance than building a good football team. They brought over Geno Smith. It didn't work out. They're now paying Geno Smith to play football in New York this year. So what do? First overall pick, you go get Fernando Mendoza and bring in veteran quarterback Kirk Cousins. You got Aiden O'Connell as a third string. Got Ashton Genty and Mike Washington Jr. rookie. Now this is where this team is in trouble at. Trey Tucker, Jalen Naylor, and Jack Betch. That ain't gonna get it done in this division. Deontay Thornton needs to step up. Can Brendan Rice play like his dad for a season? I doubt it. Brock Bowers, one of the best tight ends in the league, with Michael Mayer. I love their tight end room. Got Tyler Lindenbaum in free agency, reset the market, and they drafted Trezone to go behind him. Colton Miller's a really good left tackle. They lost a few guys on the O-line, but I had to give them better than the Chargers because they had a better draft. They get Max Crosby back. He probably won't be ready to camp. Kwity Paye, Pegues, Nakobe Dean, and Quay Walker with some great linebacker pickups. Can Eric Stokes stay healthy? You got Jeremy Chan and Polamalu, Darian Porter, some really big defensive backs. Teron Johnson, Jamal McCoy, who they picked up, who they need to give him time to really truly heal. And they got Trey Stooks. So let's get into the reason why I don't have them as the worst. I have them as the second best. Mendoza, Trey Stooks, Kieron Crawford, Trezone, Jamal McCoy. If he heals 100%, because they don't need him right out the gate, he can be a true steal. Definitely a first round graded cornerback that they got in the first pick in the fourth round. Mike Washington Jr., a running back that everybody liked. Safety Dalton Johnson. It's just weird they took two safeties from Arizona. I'm going to question that. Hezekiah Masses, cornerback from Cal. Malik Benson, wide receiver out of Oregon. And Brendan Cleveland, defensive tackle out of NC State. I thought they had a pretty solid draft. Jamal McCoy might truly be a steal. Yo, my dog She, Dragon Six in the check. Appreciate the love and the support, my boy. I think the Raiders know that it won't be one season that'll get them back, but this was a great start. I'm pretty sure, and I think you can quote me on this, they gotta be really upset they wasn't able to trade Max Crosby for 2 firsts, one this year and one next year. Being able to pick again at 14 behind where Fernando Mendoza is. And if we just want to just do like random and not just be direct and just say like, who is the 14th pick in this year's draft? It was Vega, the best interior lineman, went to the Ravens. If you're the Raiders and you would have got a chance to get Vega, Ruben Bain, or Kenyon Sadiq, that was the next 3 picks that they would have had at 14. That would have been the available players. Could have really made some impact. Obviously, Max Crosby is a cornerstone to the Raiders, but with him coming off an injury and already showed that you had traded him, do they still turn around and try to deal him? Who knows? I think he will still get dealt, but that'll be an interesting thing to watch once he heals up. All right, let me check the chat again before we get to Team 3. Yeah, the lady lied about, they caught her in a lie in the Stephon Diggs trial. So that's going to be interesting once that's over and done with. She was popping. Yeah, Facebook bugging with the stickers, my boy. All right. Third best team as far as offseason. And I usually don't do this with a team that didn't have a first or a second round pick, but the Denver Broncos had a really good offseason. Bo Nix to get back healthy. You got Jared Stidham still there. J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, Jonah Coleman, Cortland Sutherland, Pat Bryant, They picked up Jalen Waddle in the Dolphins' fire sale with Marvin Mims behind him, Troy Franklin and Lil Jordan Humphrey, Evan Ingram and Adam Troutman. That receiving core is deep and is scary. Running back room is deep. You know what they want to do out there in Denver. Was able to keep their offensive line for the most part together. On defense, they lose John Franklin Myers. But they still got the core of that really good defense that they had. They got them to the AFC title game. That Jalen Waddle pickup for a team that was a few plays away from a Super Bowl. It just looks nasty out there. Looking into their draft, defensive tackle out of Texas A&M. Obviously, they're going to draft a D tackle after losing John Franklin Myers. This is a team that I would watch out for to pick up some of the veteran free agents because they're in a win now mode. They're in their window, and we're going to do an episode after we finish the AFC West and NFC West of the free agents that's left. This would be the type of team that would go after a veteran free agent to try to help them on a 1-year deal, because they truly are like a player or two away from having a real legitimate shot, being that they had the best, the top of the AFC. They got running back Jordan Coleman out of Washington that a lot of people like. You go Cage Casey, tackle out of Boise State, Jolly, tight end out of NC State, safety Miles Scott out of Illinois, another tight end Bentley out of Utah, and linebacker out of Buffalo, Red Murdoch. I think they're getting people that are going to rotate in late. They're not looking for immediate impact when your first pick is in the third round. But the fact that they got Jalen Waddle mixed into that wide receiver group, I think the Broncos could be dangerous next year. Now let me get into the chat. I think the Broncos should get a better backup, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they could pick somebody up. I mean, it's a backup quarterback. If Bo Nix ain't there, you know, they're popped anyways. But I think there'll be a team that'll pick up a veteran backup as they get going. Why would anybody sign Diggs before the trial? That wouldn't make sense. He's gonna be at least 10 to 15 million. You're not gonna sign a receiver leading up to the draft for 10 or 15 million that you don't know if he's gonna be able to play or not. My expectation is if the Patriots can't trade for AJ Brown, that they'll bring Diggs back. That's my thought. I truly think that. All right, let's stay on target. Obviously, that leaves the Kansas City Chiefs, who got really aggressive. Patrick Mahomes has to come back healthy, but let's get into their depth chart. Obviously, big free agent signing with Kenneth Walker and drafting Emmett Johnson. They still got Brashard Smith, picking up Justin Fields, Nussmeier for backup quarterbacks. You get Rashee Rice with no legal problems to start the season off. Xavier Worthy, Tyquan Thornton, who came on last year, and then maybe Jalen Royals takes a step forward in year 2. Travis Kelce's back, the Hall of Famer, Noah Gray. Kind of know what they're going to do there. They've been loading up offensive line for the last several years. The Chiefs, after losing to the Bucks, have been investing in offensive line almost every year. Since then, they learned their lesson. George Karlaftis, Chris Jones, Tonga Uzomah, Drew Tranquil, Nick Bolton. Now, Leo Chenal is gone. Got Shamari Connor. Big pickup in getting free safety Gilman. Obviously, Mansour Delane and Cater Kahu. Xavier Nwankpa and Jaden Hicks, some young safeties with the Tennessee Titan legend Christian Fulton, and another Tennessee Titan legend, Kerry Long, still looking for a home, for a place to make his impact known. But this is the thing that got me saying that the Chiefs made the most moves in the AFC West. Trading up, because they traded McDuffie to the Rams. When would you find the Chiefs with a top 10 pick and 2 picks in the first round? They go after Mansour Delane, the best corner in the draft, and then they go after Peter Woods, who some will argue is the best defensive tackle in the draft, to go with Chris Jones and Karl Loftus, R. Mason Thomas, a speed edge off. Like, do you see what the Chiefs did? They said running back, cornerback, defensive tackle, edge. They are trench warfare. They're committed to making to winning at the point of attack. 4th pick, Kennedy, safety out of Oregon. Emmett Johnson, running back out of Nebraska, to pair with K9. And then you got Cyrus Allen, wide receiver out of Cincinnati. And then I think it's a pretty good pickup in Garrett Nussmeier in the 7th round for backup quarterbacks. The backups in the Chiefs haven't been adequate. I don't know how much you got in Fields there, but definitely upgrading the quarterback room over Gardner Minshew last year, and Chris Olakuden, like, he lost to the Titans, so that should tell you just about everything you need to know. Thought the Chiefs went out and really tried to make some splashes, take some pressure off of Patrick Mahomes by drafting a running back and picking up K9. I think this is the team every year that you got to watch for the Chiefs to go out. When you talk about let me pull it up here so I can show y'all some of the free agent, just like the Broncos, you could definitely look for the Chiefs to be a team that would be in the market to pick up one of the free agent wide receivers like they do every year. People want to go play for the Chiefs for free. So let's look and kind of project a little bit. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, all right. You definitely got Deebo Samuel out there. Who knows if Tyreek Hill still wants to play football? Stephon Diggs, as we already mentioned. I think D Hop and Keenan Allen and Brandon Cooks is kind of past their time, but those will be some of the guys that you might want to look at to see if the Chiefs would be trying to bring in some veteran receivers to come in and be part of their push this year, to try to get back to the top of a division that they dominated for a decade. But I do think Chiefs and Broncos, followed by the Raiders, and lastly the Chargers. That would be my pecking order, and by who I think had the best offseason in the AFC West. Now let me get back to the chat. Yeah, they can't make a decision until June 1st. The first 3 weeks of the regular season. I wouldn't count Patrick Mahomes out to be ready to start the season. KD was popping, bro. If the Chiefs do sign Diggs, Super Bowl with a solid roster they have already. I don't know. It's interesting. I think Deebo Samuel will be a good fit for what they do. The Chiefs are always like getting people in space, not necessarily like people just running, dirty route runners. Yeah, a lot of teams made good moves. It's only a few teams that you could look and be like, kind of question the moves they made. 2 times, LaD. All right. I'm feeling kind of good. We got through the AFC West in less than 25 minutes. Listen, man, we here. We woke. We don't even need the coffee. I can hit the Sprite night. Let me hit the Sprite. We're going to turn this into 2 episodes, but I'm going to split them. We're going to turn this into 2 episodes, but I'm going to split them. And we're going to do this on the fly. All right, give me 30 seconds. We're gonna reset and we're gonna do NFC South.
Hit that subscribe, like, comment, share. Tap into the daily uploads at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you missed the live streams, you got picture in picture. And if I don't get to any questions during the live streams or the pods, drop them in the comments. I'll make it part of the weekly mailbag. If you're following on the blue, smash those reactions. I know you're OG. Hit that like, comment, share, tap into the daily content that is the shop. If you're new to the shop, you definitely should be tapped in on the green. No ads, up to 50 emotes free for just being a follower. You do not have to be a supporter to unlock picture in picture, late night streams. Follow us on Kick. We also live on Twitch. Look out for the drops, as well as if you have Amazon Prime, it's free $99 to sub to the channel once a month. Don't let Jeff Bezos stick that money back in his pocket. If you don't use it on the shop, use it on another content creator that you like. I still call it Twitter, but follow us on X. We tweet back. Yo, if you missed the daily shop talks, make sure you tap in for the late night cap on the purple and the green. The Discord is always open. Outside of subs, donos, and cash apps, there's also another way to support the content. That's by grabbing a trucker hat, a bandana, hoodies, classic barbershop, Vibe Nation, right out of the official merch store on Tactic, formerly known as Geeks Unleashed. Code Buddha at checkout to get a discount.
All right, let me see them crystal balls in the chat. We're gonna double down and we about to hit the NFC West. Let me see them crystal balls in the chat. All right, AFC West, NFC North, AFC North, NFC East, AFC East, NFC South, AFC South. We always here. Last division that we're gonna break down on who had the best offseason roster wise. Super Bowl champion Seahawks came out of this division. So who do y'all think had the worst offseason? Let's not even speculate. Arizona Cardinals. When you got your backup quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, demanded money, and his backup is Gardner Minshew, coming off an injury from the Chiefs. You got Carson Beck and Keaton Slovis as your four quarterbacks. You can't be looking good in a division with defenses as good as the Rams, 49ers, and Seahawks. Now, I'm going to give them some love in the end, but we got to give them tough love out the gate and just say that drafting Jeremiah Love in a situation where they had Algier and James Conner, I thought that would have been a chance for them to trade back. People were trying to rag the Titans for not trading back. The Cardinals, I think, for sure should have traded back out of 3 and tried to get more to add to this roster. Marvin Harrison Jr., I think they've been wasting the young years. Michael Wilson's good. They got Kendrick Bourne, Devin Duvernay. Nothing that really scares you, but their real weapon is Trey McBride. He is a complete goon. I think they actually have a decent set of pass catchers when you add Jeremiah Love in. Problem is the QB situation. Offensive line, picked up Basantis. You got Paris Johnson, Samalo, Wilkinson. Tennessee Titan legend. They got a really good swing tackle in Udo. Josh Sweat, Lopez, Walter Nolan. Can he have a good year too? Darius Robinson, Cody Simon, Mac Wilson really good linebacker. Zaven Collins, Will Johnson, Ricky from last year, Buddha Baker, great veteran, wing guard, Denzel Burke, Gary Williams, Murphy Button. I ain't gonna lie, they're thin on so many positions that this is why I felt like they should have traded back. I just don't think I got enough talent in this division, and let's get to their draft. Really could have improved this roster twofold by trading out of this pick, but you do got one of the more dynamic players in this draft, and Jeremiah Love to go with Connor. You got Chase Basantis, one of the better guards in the draft, and not a bad move if Carson Beck can be like a Tyler Shook, and after they get whatever they want figured out in the quarterbacks in front of him, if they can get Carson Beck to come in the second half of the season and show some fire, you know, that might be their way of saving, because they had to be pressed mid-March to get rid of Kyler Murray and dump that contract. Really kind of in a similar position to the Miami Dolphins. Go D-tackle in the fourth with Proctor, wide receiver Virgil out of Texas Tech, Sherrar, linebacker from Iowa, and Jaden Williams, offensive tackle from Ole Miss. Top of the draft looks good. Bottom of the draft, Cardinals got a long way uphill. All right, second team in this division in offseason, I have to say, if the Cardinals didn't bomb it, a team that always has it figured out in the front office is the Rams. And I told y'all I thought that they would draft Ty Simpson, but the only problem is Puka Nacua had off-field issues. You don't know how much longer Matt Stafford is going to play. Tay Adams is getting a little bit older. And I think this is another team that may go after one of those veteran free agents to try to win now, because their front office said that they felt like any of the guys, Makai Lemon and Kenyon Sadiq, who they were looking at, they didn't feel like would impact the roster enough to take them over Ty Simpson. So you got Whittington. They lost Tutu Atwell, their speedster. You got Kobe Parkinson, Tyler Higbee, Terrence Ferguson, Max Clare. Really good tight end room. You always have a good offensive line with the way McVay runs that offense. But Poona Ford, Braden Fisk, Byron Young, Jared Verse, Spates, Landman. They got Jalen Watson from the Chiefs. They got Trent McDuffie from the Chiefs, who they traded one of their 2 first-round picks for. Got Cam Curl, Cam Kinchins, and Quentin Lake. I really like their secondary. I think their secondary is with Emmanuel Forbes. I think they got a really good defense. Solid offense. Can Puka Nacua shake off the off-field stuff? I still feel like they need a little bit more flair on offense. And it's going to be yet to be seen whether this decision to go quarterback for the future in a year where they had 2 first-round picks, because this is actually Atlanta's pick, and they sent their first-round pick for McDuffie, which I feel like was a smart move, because you got 2, but I was really expecting them to try to add an impact player where they were at. They probably could have got, Makai Lemon with Puka Nacua and Tay Adams would have been nuts. But could they have traded out of 13 and picked up an extra pick to try to get Ty Simpson and still get more value? Who knows? But Max Clare, tight end out of Ohio State, Keegan Tross, tackle out of Missouri, CJ Daniels, wide receiver out of Miami, and then Tim Keenan, roll tide, really good D tackle, a good gap eater, Alabama. So not a bad off season, but I can't see that they added anything to help them get over the edge, but they may add some stuff in the free agency the year that they did when they got like Odell and they got all those free agent guys they picked up that year they won a Super Bowl. It could be a situation like that where they're trying to go after veterans in a win now mode, or if not, they're gonna blow it up and rebuild. Third team, Cam was always first was popping. Third team in the division, world champion Seahawks. And the reason why is like with a team that lost Boy Mafe and Tariq Woolen and K9, the MVP, they lost a few players, but it don't seem like it's really a hole because of the way that they've been drafting. Still got Sam Darnold, Drew Lock, and Jalen Milroe. You got Charbonnet, Jadarian Price, and George Holani at running back. Got JSN, number one receiver in the NFL last year with Horton, Bobo, Cooper Kupp, and Rashid Shaheed. Still got a solid receiver room. AJ Barner, Arroyo from Miami last year. Two really good tight ends. Obviously, they got Gray Zabel, Cross Lucas. Offensive line, super solid. Big Cat, Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence, Byron Murphy, Jaron Reed. Still got the big boys up front. Then you go Drake Thomas, Ernest Jones, Chenna and Wusu at backers with Devin Witherspoon leading the secondary with Josh Jobe, who really stepped up, Julian Love, Nick Emenwari, the star hybrid safety, nickelback, and then they got Ty Okada. But you got Bud Clark that they got in the draft, and let's see how much of that they was able to reload through the draft, because I felt like the Seahawks had a good draft. Jadarian Price, running back out of Notre Dame. I think this was a smart move. A lot of people may not agree, but letting K9 go and letting somebody else pay him after you got the Super Bowl, throwing in Jadarian Price, safety Bud Clark out of TCU is a dog. Julian Neal, cornerback out of Arkansas. Bo Stevens, guard from Iowa. Emmanuel Henderson Jr., wide receiver out of Kansas. Andre Fuller, cornerback from Toledo. Devin Eastern, deep tackle out of Minnesota. And Michael Dansby, cornerback from Arizona. Seems like they wanted to add a lot of help in the secondary. They got the guys up front. I could still see them picking up a free agent edge rusher to add to that group. But overall, I thought from a team that won the Super Bowl last year, the Seattle Seahawks definitely plugged all their holes well. Seems like they're a team that drafts in advance to where when guys step on, it was already somebody being groomed to that spot. All right, let's get into the last and final team in this division. The San Francisco 49ers, who've been dealing with a lot of injury since their Super Bowl run a few years ago. Always wanted a better front offices, and we were all wondering why they kept trading back and kept trading back and kept trading back. But what they did in free agency to me was way more important than what they just specifically did in the draft. Now peep this. Obviously, I think they got, having Mac Jones for $2.5 million is stealing. There was flirting that a team would have to give them a first round pick for Mac Jones. I think at this point you just leave him there. It might not be good for Mac Jones' career unless somebody gets super desperate and wants to just salvage, wants to sell the farm for Mac Jones. But when you got a good backup that can win for $2.5 million locked in the contract, you kind of just sit there. Yeah, Cam for sure. We know it's Christian McCaffrey is, Jordan James, Kalen Black from Indiana. The 49ers getting Mike Evans after all the trouble with Deebo Samuel and Ayuk, and them guys just putting guys out of a grocery store at receiver and the offense still moving last year. Because they're slow playing Ayuk like they should. Getting Mike Evans and Christian Kirk in free agency with Ricky Pearsall drafting Striblin and then bringing back Demarcus Robinson. They still could add another veteran in free agency because they're in a win now mode. Obviously, George Kittle, Jake Tong stepped up last year when Kittle went down. Obviously, used check. They got Big Trent back and McKivitz, so they got their bookend tackles back with Jake Brundle at center. So a team that wants to slowball you with Christian McCaffrey, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, Ricky Pearsall, George Kittle, use check with now I think Striblin is basically gonna be I think Striblin is gonna be a great piece for them because of the way they play. Here on defense, last year Bosa and the rookie Michael Williams both was out. You get Osa in free agency, and you get Bosa and Michael Williams back healthy. With the guys they got up front, they did lose Robert Saleh to the Titans, but they get Greenlaw back. Fred Warner will be back healthy. Lenore, Jair Brown, Mustafa, Renardo Green, Upton Stout, they drafted last year. Picked up Nate Hobbs. Can he get back healthy? And Jack Jones. I think they slowly and quietly added a lot of good pieces to go with their draft, to where like their free agency was so good it makes their draft make sense. Striblin is basically Jawan Jennings' clone. So that makes it like, was it a reach picking him at the first pick in the second round? Maybe they could have got him later, but you know, if you feel like he's the Jawan Jennings clone, dealing with everything from Jawan Jennings, Debo Samuel, and Ayuk all being gone, you know, I think he fits what they want to do. You know, getting Romello Height, just a pure edge rusher from Texas Tech to go along with getting Bosa and Michael back. Kalen Black, running back out of Indiana. 49ers always pick good backs. Halton, D tackle from Oklahoma. Carver Willis, offensive tackle from Washington. Ephesians Prysock, probably one of the best names in the draft, cornerback from Washington. Jaden Duggar, linebacker out of Louisiana. And Enrique Cruz, Jr., tackle out of Kansas. Maybe they think they could groom one of these guys to be a tackle. With Trent, you know, nearing the end of his career, but I think the 49ers made the most and the biggest splashes in the offseason in the NFC West. But I think this is, outside of the Cardinals, I think this is going to be pretty competitive between the Seahawks, who have to have everything, the stars realigned for them to make another push again to defend their title. And then the 49ers got to be more healthy than they was last year. They can't possibly be as depleted as they was last year. And then you got the Rams. Can they put the pieces back together and get Puka out of rehab long enough for them to make a real run? But the Rams, Seahawks, and Niners are three teams that are going to be on that Spotrac board looking for free agents come June 1st to try to sign some veterans in to make their push, because those three teams are in a Super Bowl window. They got to have it now. They got Ayuk, but I don't see him playing for the Niners. They've already said that maybe he'll find a home somewhere else, but you know, if they do trade him or are able to move him, I don't know who wants to take a chance to give up draft capital in the 27 draft for Ayuk, and this guy's not even answering his phone. Guy's got a $100 million contract and won't answer his phone. So I wouldn't even consider Brandon Ayuk, but I think they did a great job with the offseason. So that partakes the whole NFL in a nutshell. We did that in 45 minutes. We hit two divisions. Now it's just going to come down to like the free agent market for some of the some of the good free agents, some of the veterans that still left, as well as the June 1st cuts. I think this has been one of the most, one of the better drafts, one of the better off seasons. We've seen the longest tenured coaches get moved. We've seen players get moved. We're talking about the complete board shakeup this season. It has been interesting to say the least. It has been interesting to say the least. That's what I'm saying. The 49ers can slow play it. By them getting Christian Kirk, Stribling, and Mike Evans, they like, look, we good. You know, it's like when you don't know if you can replace the talent you lost, you might be fighting harder or more desperate. But at this point, the Niners got a team they feel like they can compete with right now. So why not slow play it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it only works in their favor if the teams are more desperate. Commanders, I think, had the worst offseason out of all the teams in the NFC East. So it's like they're desperate to add talent for Jaden Daniels because I don't feel like they did anything to help him this offseason. So while we got a little time, this is something I was gonna make a whole different episode, but we could pop it right now. Right now I'm on Spot Track, and these are the edge rushers that are free that can help a team that's trying to win now. AJ Epinesa, Gross Matos, Michael Dana, Derek Barnett, Joey Bosa, Hassan Reddick, Clowney, Leonard Floyd, Van Noy, Danica Altrick, Cam Jordan, Von Miller. All right. Some of the positions that I think will always be interesting in free agent wide receivers. Gabriel Davis, Jawan Jennings, Scotty Miller, Curtis Samuel, Debo Samuel, Tariq Hill, Stephon Diggs, Brandon Cooks, obviously Keenan Allen and D-Hop are up in age. Let's see teams that might be looking at a running back. Najee Harris, Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Austin Eckler, are all guys that can help a team that just needs somebody to fit into a spot. Let's go interior defensive lineman. DJ Reader could really help a team. Jahad Ward had a good year for the Titans last year. Let's see. Cornerbacks that's still out here. We already looked at this, but I already know Okuda, Najee Johnson, Trevon Diggs, will he get another chance? L'Jarius Need, Marshawn Lattimore would be really high on my board. Adoree Jackson, Tre'Davious White, Rasul Douglas. You know, we're getting up in age down there. But these are guys that you just need, you know, a few snaps from. You don't need these guys to be your starters. But, you know, Melon Fonwu, Taylor Rapp, Mike Edwards, Jamal Adams, Jabril Peppers, Xavier Woods, Poyer and Harrison Smith are way up there in age. So you get to looking at some of these positions. Kenneth Murray's out there. Devin Bush. Devin White. Jerome Baker. Bobby Okereke. Logan Wilson. Jermaine Pratt. Matt Milano. Bobby Wagner, Levante David, Eric Kendricks. You had these guys that's out here that, could you get one? Could it help your team? If you're on a Super Bowl window, Parhimothy, David Njoku is still on the market. Jonnu Smith is still on the market. Those are two really good ones. I don't know how much Darren Waller and Zach Ertz, Taysom Hill have. And will Mercedes Lewis ever stop playing football? Dude's going to be 42. But these are a lot of the free agents that are out there. I seen Psycho Ty talking about Bosa to the Titans. I think Marshawn Lattimore wouldn't be a bad person to add on the Titans roster. I'm still surprised that Darrell Baker Jr. and Oli Udoh wasn't brought back, considering where those rosters at. People that I would want for the Titans, I know people have argued with me on this, but Najee Harris, I still think, first 4 years in the league, 1,000 yards, played 15 snaps last year, got hurt, got a lot of tread on the tires. When you got Nick Singleton and then Tajay and Tony's on their last year, I wouldn't mind having Najee for $2 million. I really wouldn't. Obviously, like I said, Titans need a corner and a safety. If I'm the Titans, I gave my people that I don't know about taking a shot at Trevon Diggs, but Marshawn Lattimore and Okudah, I don't think they're going to bring Armar Davis back. Would be two guys I'd look at. And then at safety, two of the younger guys in the safety market, Melifonwu and Taylor Rapp, will be two guys. Maybe Mike Edwards from the Chiefs. I think the Titans need to add a little bit more depth in the secondary. We played 18 different defensive backs last year, and I think we don't want to be in that position this year where we start naming off guys that we got in the parking lot to play defensive back. Those are my guys that I think the Titans should take a shot at in free agency. It'll be more people that'll come free June 1st. So it's going to be interesting. Ravens Joe was popping. Now, this is in less than an hour. We've did AFC West, NFC West, and the free agents. I'm going to leave it open to y'all, man. It's just 10 o'clock. We feeling good. We didn't bust this down. This is literally like 3 episodes, legitimately 2 good episodes that we recorded in less than an hour. So y'all got any questions, man? I know I've been kind of in and out, so I'll just hang for a minute and see if y'all got anything that y'all want to talk about or bring up while we just hanging in the shop. And everybody was high on Tyron Montgomery, undrafted free agent receiver for the Titans, but it wound up being a kid from Illinois who's got like a not dropping anything. Dude's got crazy hands, a beady. But I like Fitzgerald and I like McCutcheon and Emil Wagner. I think those might be a group of guys that make it into the Titans 53. I think what's gonna hurt Ty is his age. He's like Mesidor. These guys are 25. So, how much time is a team gonna put into developing a guy that's already 25? Never seen this many good free agent players before. But you gotta think, Kicks Will, like we never seen Mike Tomlin step down, and John Harbaugh get fired, and McDermott get fired, and then look at divisions across the NFL where like 10 to 12 different coaching changes happen this offseason. Teams are just really shuffling the deck. I mean, I thought that Will Levis and Anthony Richardson would get traded for late round picks in the draft, but teams is just really widening out. I mean, think about it. Brian Daboll and Brian Callahan were arguing over who's going to get Cam Ward and Shador last year. Daboll is the offensive coordinator for the Titans. Denard Wilson, Brian Callahan with Matt Nagy is in New York with John Harbaugh. Like, so it's like Brandon Allen is in New York. Like certain people are going certain places based on like what coaches where. So I think that's why you see so many free agents, because teams are like in massive overhaul mode, trying to get guys that fit that team's makeup and culture and what they're trying to build. Because like, think about it like this, Kicks Will, like teams don't necessarily trade picks in the draft anymore. They do pick swaps. Like, okay, I'll let you move up and have my second. I'll move back and take your second. But on your third, let's swap. Teams is more like swapping positions now than just outright trading picks. So it's the same with free agents. Like the Eagles got all those receivers, but they waiting to June 1st to see what they're going to do with A.J. Brown. So it's like, what if they decide to keep A.J. Brown? And some of those receivers got to get cut. So June 1st, we're going to be seeing like a whole nother slew of free agents of people that just couldn't work deals out. Dallas, like, what are they going to do if George Pickens decide he don't want to play without a long-term contract, and then he wind up dealing George Pickens late? Like, it's like that's the interesting thing. I still think Max Crosby not safe. Even on the Titans, I think Tony Pollard, because he do $9 million. Calvin Ridley, because he's been restructured. Ain't nobody safe. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my own personal thoughts. And then Will Levis, if a team get desperate enough and the price is right, like you can still see a handful of players on the Titans getting moved. And I think that's why you got a lot of free agents. Teams is trying to slow play it, realizing how important it is to put the right roster together and build for the future, not just get caught up in the moment. Come on, I know y'all got more than that. All right, that's the end of Shop Talk. I'm gonna break for a reset. I'm probably gonna pop back on, watch some highlights, some mini camp, but it's gonna be on Kick and Twitch only. Make sure y'all got y'all notifications on, turned down on YouTube. I really need those like, comments, and shares on the YouTube content when I re-upload. But y'all give me a few minutes. I'm gonna reset, pop back on Kick and Twitch. We're gonna turn the music on, and we're gonna watch. We're gonna watch a little bit of training camp, and just gonna hang out a little bit. We ain't been hanging a little bit, I feel like, so we're gonna hang tonight. Man, God first in that chat, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all know what time it is.
Hit that subscribe, like, comment, share. Tap into the daily uploads at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time if you missed the live streams. You got picture in picture, and if I don't get to any questions during the live streams or the pods, drop them in the comments. I'll make it part of the weekly mailbag. You following on the blue, smash those reactions. I know you're OG. Hit that like, comment, share, tap into the daily content that is the shop. If you're new to the shop, you definitely should be tapped in on the green. No ads, up to 50 emotes free for just being a follower. You do not have to be a supporter to unlock picture in picture, late night streams. Follow us on Kick. We also live on Twitch. Look out for the drops, as well as if you have Amazon Prime, it's free $99 to sub to the channel once a month. Don't let Jeff Bezos stick that money back in his pocket. If you don't use it on the shop, use it on another content creator that you like. I still call it Twitter, but follow us on X. We tweet back. If you missed the daily shop talks, make sure you tap in for the late night cap on the purple and the green. The Discord is always open. Outside of subs, donos, and cash apps, there's also another way to support the content. That's by grabbing a trucker hat, a bandana, hoodies, the classic barbershop, Vibe Nation, right out of the official merch